Good morning, children. So in the previous session, we discussed about union executive and state executive. So in this session, we are going to discuss about union legislature. Very important topic. Union legislature. So here, what is a legislature? Where the laws makes is known as, which is the laws which are useful for citizens. The laws were made in this legislature. So this is also union legislature is also called as parliament. Union legislature is also called as parliament. As our country is a democratic country, we are following the parliamentary system. Some countries are going to follow presidential system, but we are going to follow the parliamentary system. So this is very important. So here it is the highest legislative organ. Parliament is the highest legislative organ. Okay, and it is a highest superior than the executives. And our parliament is a bicameral legislature. Bicameral legislature means it has two houses. What are those? Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Parliament consists of two houses. Bicameralism, this is one of our silent features of our constitution. So our parliament is a bicameral legislature. It consists of two houses. One is Lok Sabha and another is Rajya Sabha. So what it will do? It makes laws required for the citizen of India. It makes laws which are required for the citizen of India. It serves as a law-making body. Here, first bill first they introduce in Lok Sabha, later they send it to the Rajya Sabha. In two houses, if it is approved, then only it becomes as an act. So that this is a parliament is known as serves as a law making body. What is it? It is serves, it acts as a law making body. In article 79 to 129 in part 5 of India, in article 79 to 129 in part 5 of Indian Constitution, there was a detailed description about this union legislature, function of the union legislature, composition of the union legislature, organization of the union legislature, and powers and functions of union legislature. Once again you see, in article 79 to 129 in part 5 of our constitution, detailedly discussed about the composition, organization, powers and functions of union legislature. Okay, and here union legislature, here once again union legislature is also called as parliament. So Indian parliament, it consists of president, Lok Sabha, house of people. See here Lok Sabha, the people in Lok Sabha are elected directly. So that here Lok Sabha, it is known as house of people because the people are elected directly. Okay, so Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, this is known as a council of states. This is known as council of states. So and these are the the Indian parliament consists of these. What are they once again? Lok Sabha, president, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. The president of India has power to summon or to dissolve both the houses, means either Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. Understand? He has a power to summon the two houses, and he has a power to dissolve Lok Sabha on the advice of union ministers headed by Prime Minister. Once again see, the president has power to summon the Lok Sabha parliament, okay, and in either house, and he can dissolve Lok Sabha on the advice of Union Council ministers headed by Prime Minister. So now we are going to see Union legislature, I already told you, union legislature popularly is known as a parliament. Union legislature popularly known as parliament. It is called as parliament. So it is a part of the government. What is the organs of the government? What are the organs of the government? Legislature, executives, judiciary. So these three are the organs of the government. So it is what is a union legislature or parliament is a part of the government. It is a part of the government, and it has bicameral in nature, and it means what? Two houses. It has bicameral means two. So it has two houses popularly known as lower house, Lok Sabha, upper house, Rajya Sabha. Okay, it consists of the houses Lok Sabha and Council of States, Rajya Sabha. Okay, directly Lok Sabha, the people are elected directly, so that it is known as a Lok Sabha, and second one is Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha elections are conducted indirectly, so it is known as Council of States. It is known as Council of States. So the House of People is also known as lower house, represents the people. Understand? It represents the people. Okay, what is that? Lok Sabha. And Council of the States popularly known as upper house. Rajya Sabha is known as upper house. The elections of Rajya Sabha conducts indirectly. For Lok Sabha, direct elections. For Rajya Sabha, indirect elections. So it is also known as upper house, which represents the states and union territories, which represents the states of India and union territories of India. Okay, the law making power and are exercised by the president and the parliament. Okay, who will prepare the laws in this? Understand? First, any bill they introduce in Lok Sabha. Next, 2/3 of approval it goes to Rajya Sabha. Then they discuss thoroughly about it there. Then it goes to the approval of the president. After his signature, it becomes an act. So here, the law making powers are exercised by the president and parliament. Parliament means, again you have to remember it always, that Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So in this chapter we are going to discuss detailedly about the composition of Union legislature, organization, powers and functions of Union legislature, law making procedure, how they introduces the bill, what are the processes that goes on. So here we are going to see law making procedure, amendment process. So change, understand, change in the articles is known as amendment of constitution. So here we are going to how the amendment process goes on. So amendment process, functions of the speaker, Lok Sabha, who is the head of Lok Sabha? Speaker is the head of Lok Sabha. So we are going to see the functions of Lok Sabha and chairman. Rajya Sabha head is known as chairman. So we are going to see about the powers and functions of chairman, qualifications, powers and functions of chairman, and types of bills. How many types of bills are there? What are the how they introduces it, how this goes on, how it prepares an act. All these things we are going to see in this. Once again you see here, Union legislature popularly known as parliament. It is a part of the government. It is a part of the government because what are the organs of the government? Union legislature, executives, legislature, executives, judiciary. So it is a part of the government. It has bicameralism. It has two houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. It consists of the Lok Sabha and Council of States and Rajya Sabha. House of the People is also known as lower house, represents the people. Lok Sabha people are elected directly. So with direct elections they are elected. So that it is known as Lok Sabha. Council of States popularly known as upper house. So the Rajya Sabha is also known as upper house. It represents states and union territories. The law making powers are exercised by the president Understand? His president is also one of the part in parliament. So the laws are prepared by the president, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So in this chapter we are going to discuss about the composition, organization, powers and functions of legislature, how the law makes here, law making procedure, amendment process, okay, functions of speaker, chairman, speaker is head of Lok Sabha and chairman is head of Rajya Sabha. So chairman, functions of chairman and types of bills. Now see, we are going to see unique features of union legislature. What are the features of union legislature? The silent features of Indian constitution we studied now there. See, lengthiest constitution, bicameralism, next federal state, like that we studied then of features. So these are also features of union legislature. Okay, see the first one, bicameral legislature in structure. In its structure it has two houses. In some parliaments it may have only one house, but as in Indian parliament it has two houses. So bicameral legislature in structure. Second one, Indian parliament is not a sovereign body. So it is not very integral one. So it is not the highest one in India. Okay. So Indian parliament is not a sovereign body. It acts according to the provisions of the constitution. See, what are the rules and regulations are there in constitution? It follows only those rules and regulations. But okay, is it clear? Do you understand it? See, Indian parliament is not a sovereign body, but it acts according to the provisions of the constitution. What are the rules and regulations are there in constitution? It follows those. Okay, next, powers and functions of both the houses are not equal in union legislature. It has two houses, already we studied it. What is that? Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So the powers and functions of both the houses are not equal. Already I told you, because the Lok Sabha people are elected directly and the Rajya Sabha people are elected indirectly. So the powers and functions are different from each other. And once again, powers and functions of both the houses are not equal. Okay, union legislature has some nominated members in both the houses. Both the houses, understand? See, yesterday we studied in powers and functions of president. In that we studied that what he will nominate Anglo-Indians. So here in union legislature, some members are nominated by the president for Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So union legislature enjoys several legislative, executive and judicial powers. See, once again, union legislature enjoys several legislative, understand? See, I told you, all the laws which are useful for the citizens will prepare in this. So that is an example for legislative functions. So like that executives, okay, here they enjoy, see, for chairman they will elect themselves, Lok Sabha speaker they will elect themselves. So executive powers, it has some executive powers and judicial powers. Yesterday we studied that impeachment, a process which the president can remove from his post. That procedure is known as impeachment. So impeachment comes under into judicial powers. So union legislature enjoys several legislative, executive and judicial powers. There will be a chairman of Lok Sabha. Understand? The vice president acts as a ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha. What? The Vice President acts as an ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha. So there will be a chairman for Rajya Sabha. Okay, and the Vice President of India acts as its ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha. So for Lok Sabha there will be a speaker. How there was a head For Rajya Sabha, who is the head of the Rajya Sabha? Ex officio chairman or the vice president is the head of Rajya Sabha. Like that, there will be a head for Lok Sabha. Who is he? Speaker. Who is he? Speaker. So speaker belongs to the ruling party. Speaker always belongs to the ruling party and opposition party. So here the speaker belongs to the ruling party. So president is not a member of the parliament but is regarded as an integral part of the parliament. So here president is not a member in the parliament. Once again see, president is not a part in the, he is not a member of the parliament. He is one of the important part of the parliament. Once again, he is not a member. President is not a member of the parliament. He is an important part of Indian parliament. Once again, you see what are the unique features of union legislature. It is bicameral legislature in structure. Bicameral means it has two houses, popularly known as Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Indian parliament is not a sovereign body. Okay, and it acts as according to the provisions of the constitution. The rules and regulations which lies in the constitution, it follows those. And powers and functions of both the houses are not equal in union legislature. So the two houses are there, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Those two houses are there, the powers and functions of the two houses are not equal. Okay, union legislature has some nominated members in both the houses. President nominates some members to Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So union legislature nominates some members to both the houses. Union legislature enjoys several legislative, executive and judicial powers. What? Union legislature enjoys several legislative, executive and judicial powers. There will be a chairman of Rajya Sabha. The head of Rajya Sabha, okay, is known as chairman. So the vice president acts as a ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha. Who acts? Vice president acts as an ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha. Like that, there will be a head for Lok Sabha is known as speaker. Okay, always speaker belongs to the ruling party. President is not a member in the parliament but is a very important part of the parliament. Okay, he is not a member in the parliament, he is an important part of parliament. Now we are going to study detailedly about Lok Sabha. So I told you already that it is a house of the people and it is also known as lower house. What is that? It is known as lower house or house of people because the representatives in this are elected directly by the people by general elections. So that it is known as house of people or lower house. It represents the people of India because the people elects the representatives. So it is known as it represents the people of India and it is directly elected by the people of India. Just I told you in general elections, the people directly elects elects the representatives. So the elections for Lok Sabha is direct elections. So it is directly elected by the people of India. It is a powerful, democratic and fully representative house of the union legislature. In democracy, already you know that what is that democracy? Of the people, by the people and for the people. The definition of democracy is that of the people, by the people and for the people. So the people elects directly the representatives. So it is a most powerful house, okay, and it represents the house of union legislature. The representatives who are elected directly by the people will act as a members of Lok Sabha. So it is so that it is a full powerful organ. So it acts as a source of laws and policies meant for well-being of the people and progress and development of the country. So here already in previous we studied that what here they prepare the laws which are useful for the citizen of the country or for the development of the country. So here it understand here they prepare the laws and policies which are useful for the well-being of the people, which are useful for the well-being of the people and progress and development of the country. Which rules they have to make for the development of the country, everything they discuss here, so that they prepare the laws which are useful, policies which are useful for well-being of the people and progress and development of the country. Okay. Now we are going to see about the composition, election, qualification, disqualifications, term of office, oath, salary and allowances, sessions and quorum detailedly. Once again, composition of Lok Sabha, how to elect the people, elections of Lok Sabha, qualifications. What are the qualifications required for the members of Lok Sabha? Disqualifications. Sometimes because they are elected directly by the people, so that we can disqualify the people. So disqualifications, term of office, oath, what is the salary and allowances of Lok Sabha members, okay, sessions, how many times they conduct the meetings, and quorum, the minimum attendance of Lok Sabha. Okay, now we are going to see detail about this. Once again, see, Lok Sabha, it is a house of people or lower house, and it represents the people of India. It is directly elected by the people of India, and it is a powerful, democratic and fully representative house of the Union legislature. It acts as a sources of law and policies meant for well-being of people and progress and development of the country. Now we are going to see about the composition, election, qualifications, disqualifications, term of office, oath, salary and allowances, sessions and quorum. Okay, now you see composition of Lok Sabha. What is that? Composition of Lok Sabha. Okay, at present the maximum strength of Lok Sabha is 552 members. How many members are there in Lok Sabha? At present, maximum member strength of Lok Sabha is 552. They belong to the states, union territories and nominated category. All these people, some people are elected, okay, directly by the people, and some are nominated by the president, and these people belongs to states and union territories. These people belongs to state and union territories. They represents their states. Okay, out of the total members, 530 members represents the state. Totally how many members are there? 552. In 552, 530 members represents to the states and 20 members represent to the union territories. Okay, 530 members belongs to the states and 20 members belongs to the union territories, and another 2 members belongs to Anglo-Indian community. 2 members belongs to Anglo-Indian community, which are nominated by the president. Once again, see the composition. At present, the maximum strength of Lok Sabha is 552. They belong to states, okay, union territories and nominated category. Out of total members 530 members, 530 members represents to the states, 20 members represents to the union territories, and 2 members belongs to Anglo-Indian who are nominated by the president. Okay, this is about the composition of Lok Sabha. Elections. The members of Lok Sabha are directly elected by the people from the territorial constitutions in the state. I told you, in general elections, a state is divided into constituencies. So the constituencies people elected directly their representative to Lok Sabha. So the members of Lok Sabha are directly elected by the people from territorial constitution in the state. Okay, the election is based on the principle of universal adult franchise. What is it? It is based on the the election based on universal adult franchise. 18 years of age can cast their vote in such elections. Who can cast their vote? The persons who attain 18 years of age, they can cast their vote without any discrimination of caste, creed, sex, language, okay, region. Okay, once again, 18 years of age can cast their vote in such election without having any discrimination of caste, religion, region, sex. Okay, next qualifications. Once again, see the elections. The members of Lok Sabha are directly elected by the people from the territorial constitution in state. Second one, the elections is based on the principles of universal adult franchise. So, what is known as universal adult franchise? The persons who attains 18 years of age without having any discrimination, and they can cast their vote. That is known as universal adult franchise. So 18 years of age can cast their vote in such elections. This is the election process of Lok Sabha. Next, qualifications. Who can participate in these elections? Okay, see, he should be a citizen of India. That is very, very important. What is that? He should be a citizen of India. He should not be less than 25 years of age. Understand? He must have 25 years of age. And he should not hold any office of profit under the union or state government. He should not get or he should not be posted in any post of union government or state government. Okay, he should possess such other qualifications as prescribed by the parliament by law. Understand? What the other rules and regulations which are given by parliament, that he should obey. Next, every contesting person should pay 25,000 as security deposits. Who are going to contest in these elections must deposit 25,000 as a security deposit. Okay, what is that? Every contesting person should pay 25,000 as a security deposit, and if he gets 1/6 votes, he gets back the security deposits. If he gets 1/6 of the votes, then only he will get back his security deposit money. Otherwise, he have to forget about that money. Once again, if he gets 1/6 votes, he gets back the security deposit. Okay, these are the qualifications. Once again, see, he should be a citizen of India. He should not be less than 25 years of age. He should not hold any office of profit under the union state government. He should possess such other qualifications as prescribed by the parliament by law. Every contesting person should pay 25,000 as security deposit. If he gets 1/6 votes, he gets back the security deposits. Okay, this is the qualifications. Disqualifications, because these persons are directly elected by the people, so that understand, in some cases they can disqualify. What are those? See here. If he is of an unsound mind as declared by court of law, if the person's mind is not fixed, okay, if some disturbances is there in his mind, so that such type of person can remove from his he declared as a disqualification. If he is of unsound in mind as declared by court of law. If he is undischarged insolvent, understand? If he is undischarged insolvent, if he cannot pay that deposit money, security deposit money, that is also one of the disqualification. If he is disqualified by any law made by the parliament, the laws which are made by the parliament, in that if he is not fit for it, he is disqualified. Once again, see, if he is of unsound mind as declared by a court. In that cases, he can disqualify. If he is undischarged, insolvent, and if he is disqualified by any law made by the Parliament. These are the disqualifications of what is a Lok Sabha member. Term of office. Okay, normally the term of Lok Sabha is 5 years. Once a person is elected, he continues in his post for 5 years. So the term of Lok Sabha is 5 years. It can extend it for 1 year during emergency. Yesterday in powers and functions of President, we studied the emergency powers of President. At the time of war, aggression, internal aggression, the President has power to proclaim the emergency power. So at the time of emergency, the Lok Sabha can extend for 1 year. Okay, fresh elections to the Lok Sabha must be held within 6 months after the end of emergency. After end of the emergency, within 6 months, they have to conduct the elections. Okay, see once again, normally the term of Lok Sabha is 5 years. It can extend for 1 year of time in the time of emergencies. The emergency means national wars or national aggression, internal aggressions. At the time they can extend for 1 year. But after ending of the emergency, within 6 months, they have to conduct the elections immediately. Okay, this is about the term of office. Next, oath. Every member of either house of the Parliament before taking his seat in the house has to make and subscribe to an oath before President. Whoever elected in the elections, they must take, and before they are going to take their seat, they have to subscribe to an oath before the President. Okay. Next, salaries and allowances. At present, every member of Lok Sabha receives a salary of 1,25,000 per month. What is the salary of Lok Sabha members? At present, every member of Lok Sabha receives 1,25,000 per month. Member retiring after completing his term get a monthly pension of 20,000. So after retiring from his post, so he gets every month 20,000 as his pension. Okay, the members are provided with travelling facilities, free accommodation, telephone, vehicle advance, and medical facilities. Along with this, what is that? Salary, free house accommodation, travelling allowances, free accommodation, telephone facility, vehicle advance, and they get medical facilities. Once again, at present, every member of Lok Sabha receives a salary of 1,25,000 per month. A member retiring after completing his term gets a monthly pension of 20,000. He gets 20,000 pension, and the member are provided with, MLAs are provided with travelling facilities, free accommodation, telephone, vehicle advance, and medical facilities. Sessions. The President of India can decide to summon the sessions of the Parliament at any time. He will call, the President will call, and he conducts meeting sessions of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. But the gap between two meetings of the Parliament cannot be more than 6 months. Understand? The gap between two sessions must not be more than 6 months. Normally the sessions of Lok Sabha are held twice a year. Actually, for yearly they will conduct the meetings twice, 2 times. But one session held in February, March, that is known as budget session. The session first they will held in first session they will conduct in February and March. In that they will discuss about the budget. So this session is known as budget session. The second session is conducted in July, August. The second section they will conduct in July and August month. So that is a monsoon month. So that we call this as a monsoon session, that we call it as a monsoon session. The third session is arranged in November, December. It is in winter season, so it is called as winter session. The third session is arranged in November, December. It is known as winter session because it is a winter season. Once again, the President of India can decide to summon the sessions of the Parliament at any time. Any time he can call up for the meetings. But the gap between two meetings of the Parliament cannot be more than 6 months. The gap between two meetings must not be more than 6 months. Normally the sessions of Lok Sabha are held twice a year. Normally they conduct the Lok Sabha sessions twice a year. First session held in February and March. First session they conduct in February and March, and they introduce budget, so it is known as budget session. And second session is conducted in July and August. It is known as monsoon because it is a monsoon season, so that session is known as monsoon session. And the third session is arranged in November, December. It is a winter season, so it is known as winter sessions. Okay. Next we are going to see about the quorum. Quorum means the minimum attendance of Lok Sabha. The minimum attendance of Lok Sabha. The minimum attendance of members required for conducting the meeting of Lok Sabha. To conduct the meeting of Lok Sabha, they must have the quorum. Okay, quorum of Lok Sabha is fixed 1/10 of the total population. If 1/10 of the population was attended, then only they will conduct the meeting. So regularly they will check the quorum. The speaker determines whether there is a quorum on the particular day for conducting the meeting, because Lok Sabha had the speaker, so he look after whether there was a quorum for that day, for that particular day to conduct the meeting or not. Once again, quorum means the minimum attendance of members required for conducting the meeting of Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha of quorum is quorum of Lok Sabha was fixed by 1/10 of the total membership. So the speaker determines whether there is a quorum on a particular day to conduct the meeting. If all the persons are attended, if there is a quorum, then he conducts the meetings. This is about the quorum.